My fellow Americans, veterans, and service members, aloha. Today we recognize all of those among us who have been a part of the great United States military, our veterans, active duty service members, guardsmen, and reservists. Your service and sacrifice have kept our country, our democracy, safe and free. Veterans Day looks a lot different this year than it has in the past. Our current state of affairs and the protective measures implemented across the country to stop the spread of COVID-19 have forced us to think creatively to ensure we stay safe while honoring our nation's heroes. Our country, over its 240-year history, has weathered many tests of courage, but none so great as our sacrifices made in the Second World War. And it began right here in the Hawaiian Islands, on that day of infamy when the United States suffered a devastating attack at Pearl Harbor and other military installations on Oahu. The United States was thrust into World War II and the Pacific Theater, where great battles at Midway, Peleliu, Wake Island, and Iwo Jima occurred. Thousands of lives were lost, but the war galvanized a nation, and what would emerge would define a generation of Americans as the greatest generation. Today we are prompted by history to remember the lessons taught by these brave men and women, values of American service, leadership, sacrifice, and perseverance. On the 2nd of September, 1945, World War II finally came to an end on the teak decks of the USS Missouri, ending the bloodiest conflict in human history. The surrender ceremony, presided over by General Douglas MacArthur, lasted a mere 23 minutes. But in those 23 minutes, General MacArthur called for justice, tolerance, peace, and rebuilding. In the wake of a pandemic sweeping over our country, through deeply divided politics, now more than ever, we need to remember the values those service members in World War II held. We need to be emboldened in our defense of democracy, equality, and liberty, and we need to continue our journey of defining what our American story is. Today, over 300,000 of the 16 million Americans who served in World War II are still with us. Those brave veterans of the greatest generation were ordinary people until they heard the call of duty and answered it. They left their families, their homes, and their livelihoods, not for recognition or fame, or even the honor we bestow on them today. They fought to protect our country, to maintain our way of life, and to continue the legacy of our democracy. These veterans would serve as a model of what it would mean for future generations to put on a uniform. Today we honor all of our veterans who selfishly placed their lives on the line for our freedoms. And these sacrifices are great indeed. The current wars fought in the Middle East are the first since World War II that U.S. servicemen and women have undergone multiple deployments. As a 20-year lieutenant colonel in the Hawaii Air National Guard, for all but 9 months, I have only known a nation at war. I've been deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan during operations Iraqi Freedom and Enduring Freedom. And I've seen and I fully understand the sacrifice of service. And I am thankful for the values that the military instilled in me as an airman, an officer, and a leader. Earlier this week, I was honored to be elected as the United States House Representative for Hawaii's 2nd Congressional District. And through the course of that journey to Congress, I made it clear that I will do everything in my power to ensure our veterans and service members were afforded the entitlements and benefits they are owed for their service. Our veterans and their families have made enormous sacrifices in their service to our nation. We need to do right by them. Today, we do that by thanking our veterans for their service. We thank them for their courage. We thank them for our freedom. And we thank them for fighting to preserve our values and democracy for ourselves and for future generations of Americans to come. We are a better, stronger nation because of them. God bless all our service members and veterans. God bless their families, and God bless the United States of America.